the agenda. I'd like to make two minor changes under item 11, new business. The email from Ron Young and Cynthia Miller would be item 1. Item 2 would be the acuity contract with our accountants, and that would be a board action. Can I have a motion to accept the agenda with those modifications?
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Agenda is approved. Next item,
We have to announce where,
excuse me.
we have to announce that this is being recorded.
Yeah. So,
I just got a reminder on here.
yes, this board meeting is being recorded. At this point, we don't have any guests. There's no public comments. Board questions, comments, and discussion. All right. Review of the minutes of August 17th, 2023.
I read them and it came with you, so I moved to adopt them.
Yeah, I'll second that. I
Okay.
do the same thing, so.
And I have under item 8, the second page, two minor changes. I believe the 20 July regular board meeting, I was not present, and I don't know that I at any point said that I voted for, so it should be 4-0.
Okay.
And the same applies to the special board of directors meeting, in that I believe, Jerry, you did not attend that.
Yeah, and I did not vote, and I noted that.
Yeah, so that would also be 4-0. Any other changes?
No.
Okay,
Okay, no.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's carried by the board members present. The view of the financial statements for August 31st, 2023. A motion to accept the financial statements.
So moved.
Second, okay. Discussion.
Anything you want to point out, Dan?
No, I don't have anything to point out.
I didn't know, have board members had a chance to get to Umpqua Bank to sign their card?
Not here.
Okay,
I'm ready to go, but I haven't gone there yet.
yeah, it's available.
It is. Okay, I think you were going to say when it was available.
Yeah, I called you. You were sick, but I
Oh,
did
that
call
was
you.
Yeah, so
I declined to be accountable for anything while I was sick.
I just went down a couple days ago and they have a form.
Okay.
Showing your ID card and I sign it. They're happy.
Show them your driver's license.
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah.
quiet, right?
and then Aaron will be very happy.
All right.
Way more trouble than it's worth.
All right. All in favor of accepting the financial statements, say aye.
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 Board audit, accounts payable.
back payment of the medical insurance. Without a back payment on the medical insurance.
Not medical, I believe, what you're talking about is the workers' comp. Which check
Yeah.
number? Was it 3,000 something?
No, it was 8,000. Check number,
Down towards the bottom.
18762, page 1, bottom.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, that was the one that I came to you about, and we ended up adding our employees. Lincoln, JC, and Nick.
Was that the employees that weren't added initially, and then we picked them back up? Okay.
Yep.
I think it was just an administrative error before then.
Correct.
I was,
So that was
I always
just-
thought that there is nothing more. What's the right word? Useless than retroactive payment of insurance,
Yeah,
because you already made it.
Yeah, yeah.
Without an event.
you're right.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Aaron's got that all straight.
Okay,
Aaron, JC, so we're good with SDI.
all right.
Which then brings us to the district report.
Soon that you all have a look at it. We've had a eventful month. Treatment plant's running well within its permit limits. Collections, we don't have any actual work scheduled yet. I'm still waiting for Kowal to get some of the upgrades done on his truck before he comes out. Gates 1 pump station, Emery & Sons will be here in about 2 weeks. And what we've decided to do is have them fix the one leak. The other bolts are so deteriorated on the other side, and before that starts to leak and move, I'm gonna have them go ahead and just change those 8 or 10 bolts out and just put new stainless steel in before it comes apart. So that should buy us several more years. Ocean Highlands pump station, the generator failed. Only this time it was the engine on the generator that failed. It spun 2 rod bearings out of the 4 cylinders, out of the 4 rods that are in it. And the engine is obsolete. They haven't produced that engine. It's from 2006. They haven't produced that. They no longer make it. So I went down there with the guys, Brian and Tyler, and Sean came down later, and we pulled the engine and took it into Tillamook Diesel to see if it can be.
Excuse me, Jeff, we're just starting the district report
Okay,
as
thanks.
far as where we are on the agenda.
And I'm on district report item 2, Jeff. So we first had a problem with it on the 21st, was that Monday when it was supposed to start and do its exercise like they all do. And it failed to start, went down and we couldn't get it to start. Cummins was working on Ocean Highlands water generator. We got them down there to look at that. They thought it was a bad starter. We ordered a starter. We put a starter on it. Brian and Tyler got it to fire up, shut it off, and it would come back on again. It locked up. The engine itself locked up. So we spent the next couple days diagnosing it, and we found out once we drained the oil, there was metal in it. Pulled the pan, and that's when I found the rods were loose. So at that point, we went over on the 25th. We rented a generator from Diamond Rental, opening an account with them. It's roughly $2,440 a month, $2,440 a month to rent this generator. We do have generator backup. I brought the only electrician I could get to show up was Neil from Anarchy Electrical out of Albany. He came over that morning. We got back with the generator, so we have the rental generator hooked up. It is wired into the transfer switch. So if there is a power outage, it will automatically start. So We have that feature now. We have no monitoring for it. That's the only thing, because it's not hooked into our SCADA system. The only thing we can monitor is if we get a power failure, and after so long, it will alarm us that there's no electric down there, and then we'll have to run out and start the other generator manually or figure out what's wrong. But as of right now, the guys test it every week. It starts automatically. It's been working. It is sitting outside. If you go through Oceanside, you'll see it sitting beside the building. We ran the cables inside, electrician wired everything up. And so that's been in there, but, so I was trying to get a, cost to repair it. And Cummins came back with, they recommend replacing it because the engine is no longer made and the generator control panel is obsolete. Well, I wasn't so much worried about the generator control panel, because if we try to change every generator every time the control panels are obsolete, you'd be changing every generator we have. So that's not cost effective. The problem is the engine itself. So we have it in Telemuc diesel, and Telemuc diesel needs another week or so, $700 to diagnose it, and then you'll see if we can find parts for it. They're not abundant. That's the real problem with this, is that was only a 1 or 2 year engine that Cummins ran, and they haven't made them since about 2008.
I think you explained to me, that kind of tells you how reliable that machine was. If they only either built it or used it for 2 years as a product they sold.
Yeah. So they discontinued making what's called the Cummins 4B 3.3. Our other generators that are 4 cylinders are still manufactured, and they're the 4BT 3.9. So those we can fix, those are rebuildable, but this one particular unit is not. It's the same thing they have at the water district too, or the Ocean Highlands water. Then we both have the same generators. So the homeowner association was down there talking to us because they just had a bunch of work done on theirs. So I talked to John earlier, got him confused, but at that point, I thought we had 2 options: rebuild the engine, put it back in, put that generator back into service, and we were good. Or I got, as you have looked, I got a price to put a whole new unit in, and the replacement generator is $27,548. That doesn't count electricians to come in and wire it all up. That's what that generator costs. To rent the rental unit is going to cost us around $28,000 as well. It's going to take 43 to 45 weeks, 43 to 45 weeks to get the new generator once we order it. It's going to put us out 11 months plus. We've already had it in there a month. So I still want to see if we can repair the other engine and put it back in. But I recommend that we replace that generator, because if it fails again, we're not going to have any parts to fix it with. We won't be able to get them anywhere. So I still think we need to repair it and stop renting the rental generator, and then run that while we are ordering the new generator. We still have the option, if that one fails again, we can go ahead and go over and get a rental generator, have it over here and hooked up within 4 hours. That is a low flow pump station. Pumps twice a day. Like pump a little more in the winter, but it's a low flow pump station. It's not critical like Netarts or something.
Mm-hmm. I think you should offer to sell this one to the water district, so they have one for parking.
Actually, that's kind of funny you say that, because Brian and I talked about that this morning. What we would do is bring that generator up here and put it in the building and decide if we're going to surplus it out or something like that later. It's not going to do us any good to keep it permanently and try to put it into another pump station, and everything on it is pretty much obsolete. It would work for somebody like like the Water District
And they-
or Ocean Highlands.
And they just put money into there, so they're
Yeah.
gonna keep it a while.
Yeah.
So,
Well, this is the first time that I've ever seen a diesel generator engine go out. I've had generators go out. I've had to replace what's called the alternator unit. I've had those go out. I've had to go out to, at the old, treatment plant and at Happy Camp pump station, but I've never had an engine fail. And I've never had one fail like this.
No, I agree with your scenario.
You need us to
I mean,
make a
if-
motion to,
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
if you guys like talk, we're on the hook for $50,000+. I think the only way if we spend, he gave me an estimate of 5,000 to fix the other engine. I've been looking up the parts myself. I used to be a diesel mechanic. And if it's much under 7,000, I will be surprised. Because just a single rod is $2,000,
what was his estimate on time of getting it repaired?
about 4 to 6 weeks.
So
so
that still saves us money on the.
money ahead to repair the land order.
We're money ahead by what we should, I'm estimating we'll save around $20,000.
You don't have the rental.
Yeah, and put the rental back. The rental, we're set up now. We drilled the hole. We have the access to bring the cables back in if we have to run over and get a rental. But remember, in February, we get our new portable generator. And it would also run that pump station. It's overkill for it, but it will run that pump station.
If it's okay, I'd like to make a motion that we repair the existing generator diesel motor and also order the
The new Cummins replacement.
I'll second that.
That seems like a no-brainer to me.
I put all this thought in this for weeks now. I will tell you that I just found out 2 days ago that they don't make parts for it anymore. Whatever's left on the shelves you can get, after that, it's completely useless. So that's what made up my mind when we had this board meeting, that I'm gonna recommend we order this since it takes so long. And then we repair what we have if it's repairable. We still don't know yet if it's repairable, but
Right.
I'll be able to give you all that information at next board meeting.
Sounds good.
I will add the addendum that under no circumstances does our superintendent turn a wrench. I told him that, even though he is a diesel mechanic and he likes tinkering.
Don't show them those pictures. I went down and pulled the motor.
Well, that's a little different from the pump station as opposed to,
Well, I have the ability to rebuild that motor. but-
yeah.
Was your concern he's gonna re-injure himself or we're gonna have union problems?
Anyway, all in favor,
anything happen.
all in favor of Jeff's proposal or motion, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
So it will take, I will call Cummins in the morning. I will give them a PO for this, just to give you a quick update on how this is gonna go. It'll be 2 to 3 weeks of submittals that I have to get and approve before the order goes in to get on the production line. So that usually takes 2 to 3 weeks. I'll try to push it, get it done quicker. There shouldn't be a lot to have to approve.
Is that like, that's the last of our generators, right? We now like replaced them all.
You know,
No,
Oh,
we have the one,
case
the one.
one is 1993 vintage.
well, that's the one that we did repair the pipe that broke.
That's the one that we changed the oil pan out on.
Okay, that's all right.
So 93 is our oldest one. Happy Camp was the last one that we fully changed out. That was in 2000, right when I first came here. But all the other generators are in good shape until they're not. Unfortunately, they don't give you an indicator like this if the engine's going to fail. It had good oil pressure, and there was no indicators to me that shows that it should have done this. But a little research shows that it's got a bad reputation. So, but we have gotten what, 15, 16 years out of it, so.
Aaron, you have basically what you need. Okay.
And remember, we have our backup, our new generator will come. We should be through our storm season pretty much. So even if we have an issue with that one, we can put our portable generator up there, as long as we don't need it for like Netarts or something.
Sounds good.
And we'll have a couple $1,000s or so in electrician fees. We're not allowed to hook that three-phase up ourselves. There is a second, we finally received the list of parts that we need. Oh, did you see the other, quote I got for a generator? 50,000 just for the generator.
That was the Kohler.
That was the color, yeah. That's also what made me go back to the Cummins one. It's almost half the money.
Right.
So we did that contract with Xylem and we get the percentage off for purchases and stuff. This one's gonna save us around $1,000, but we have to buy a new digital screen for the UV display down there. So that's the biggest cost is well, it's 5,000 with our discount, it's 4,400, but we have a list of spare parts that we need to order. And so the total cost is $8,864.56. And that's all for the ultraviolet disinfection system. If it was an emergency, I wouldn't need board approval, but I think this requires board approval to move forward on this.
I move we accept that bid for Xylem.
Second.
Any further discussion, or are we ready to just go ahead and vote? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Thing, I like this stuff. Because before, we're using chlorine. So it eliminates that as far as the danger of working around it and also the, pretty harsh chemical.
Most all your treatment plants for the last 10 years are all going ultraviolet and they're getting rid of the chemical.
Yeah, it's great.
The chlorine disinfection. So I did get the verification last week. You guys approved the change order and the change order was accurate. The contractor didn't change it. So I went ahead and signed the change order and it's through and everything's on order. Okay, lastly, which is gonna involve more money for me. Let's Tech finish the survey. Did you all have a chance to kind of get acquainted where the two lots are that we're talking about?
Yeah, well, I did.
Yeah. So I marked it right here, quick reference. So here's the highway. This is the lower Grand, yeah. And it's these two corner lots. If you look at the layout, it's the only way we could fit the pump station and the generator building in there. And we are required to have auxiliary power at any wastewater pump station. So what I need from the board is an okay to start acquisition or find out. I mean, there's a lot of steps. This is going to take a while because it's going to have to purchase this. We're going to have it appraised once we get agreement that the owners will sell. So, I mean, I don't know what their price would be. I know some people are concerned that once they hear that the public utility wants it, they're going to jack the price up, but we only pay market value. So there will be some steps, some legal and stuff like that to go through, just like when we purchased this property.
You want to make a motion or?
Was the motion to go ahead and proceed with exploring the property?
For
purchase.
committee to purchase the two lots, yeah.
Once we know the price.
Well, yeah, you're giving me authority to go get a hold of a realtor.
All right.
That we're interested parties to purchase. We're not guaranteeing we're going to buy them.
I'll second that.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm, I move that we authorize you to move forward with purchasing the steps necessary to purchase the property.
And you'll
And
second that
second that.
also, Richard.
Yeah, I will.
So, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Off the record, if we go up there and bury some radioactive bags, we could probably get a good deal on land.
I think you just need to circulate how ugly this building's gonna be. Stink.
Wow, you're.
Those buildings across the street, looks like they got their apartments all ready to go. I drove by there today. The garage is downstairs and the windows upstairs for,
They don't have sewer there, right?
No.
that's exactly the problem. They got water. They got a waiver.
They shouldn't have.
They shouldn't have, but they did.
Okay, well, I gotta make sure Sarah knows about that.
That's,
It
Okay,
was
go
the
get
county- it was
complaints.
the county that required them to put them in, but they're unfinished. They're unfinished. I'm gonna call them apartments, living quarters upstairs, but they are unfinished.
Also getting complaints about there are apparently some rail cars over there, some storage containers.
It's a new house that they're building, tiny homes, and they're using the metal storage to build.
They're
the
using the Connex boxes
Yeah.
to build this home right in the middle of those other.
Yeah, I'm
How do you
getting
get approval for a tiny home? That's It's not really considered a tiny home.
It's a
It's-
storage.
They're actually attaching these Connex boxes and building a structure on top of it. And they're supposed to be incorporated. Now, I haven't seen the design. It's just what the contractor told me they were doing.
I'm getting copies of the complaints that are going out of the county, but they haven't applied, they haven't needed to apply for any special zoning or.
Because of the construction method.
There's, well, I mean, they apparently got a building permit, but they haven't had to do anything that required any kind of public hearing or notice or anything. They're just following existing rules, so we don't have
Okay.
any detail.
And so lastly, they get it all. Okay. So lastly, on the number 5, the HVAC parts should be in, or they should have came in this week. He should be out here next week to work on the heating system. Just that kind of makes sweater weather.
Yeah, they said, you know, that the heat wave's over.
And that's all I have. Is the board.
Thank you.
whole business, I guess there is none. New business,
John, you want me to
excuse me, this is,
Terrace?
yeah, that's the first item, that's gonna be item 1,
Oh,
the
okay.
email. I'll back up for a moment. I received a email from Cynthia Miller, the president of the Homeowners Association for Terrace C. And it included what was attached here from Ron Young in regard to trees. And by way of further explanation, about 3 years ago, there was a lot of discussion in Terrace about the trees and the views and cutting down trees and how to get neighbors to do what some thought they ought to do and whether it was in accordance with the statutes or the HOAs of the Homeowners Association rules and regulations. So what the solution tentatively was that some money was set aside and that a homeowner could tap into that for up to $500 to assist with shortening trees or cutting down trees that affected the view of neighbors. So, and probably 20% of what was set aside was used. And this initiative is a follow-on to that. Now, I think several years ago, there was some discussion of this. And did you want to pick up on that? Because I think you said that there was a concern about it killing trees.
So the district was approached, well, it's been quite a few years ago now. Well, formally, we were approached about topping trees. And we went through legal, we hired some arborists and stuff, and the risk of killing the trees if you top them. From bug kills, and then they become a fire hazard and stuff. So the district declined topping any trees. We were never asked to fully remove the trees. Fully removing the trees is different because now you have to remove everything, and that's less of a fire hazard.
Last month, I think we just approved that somebody to.
Remove to remove those trees, yes.
So could we do the same with these folks?
No,
Right.
that was based explicitly on the fact that there was a danger to power lines.
And this one's based on.
And this is based on views. And I think what we said during that meeting was we were reaffirming our intent not to get into view protection.
To get into, because anyway. I distinctly remember that we made a decision then that, which was, like Dan said, we had an arborist or two way in.
Well,
Now, the one line in here that got to me a little bit as far as tree people that I know tell me that as long as the stumps are left, the ground remains stable. I'm not so sure that's true, but that's just me talking.
So do we just issue a reply saying that the board doesn't allow for tree removal for views?
Well, that's what we
my
said
position.
before.
My position is the slippery slope.
If we start doing it for other things,
that's a steep hillside. Now, I do understand about the fire danger, okay? When I spoke at PUD, they said all these trees around it, if they catch fire, they're gonna possibly burn to the easement area. But PUD can't say, yeah, remove them, because they're a danger in our easement, because they're far outside PUD's jurisdiction as far as that goes. So
now the trees that they're talking about would have been helpful to have a little map or something, so we know where exactly what we're talking about here.
yeah, and years ago, it's the same tree cutter. He provided a map with Ed Mark, but it was several trees. It was more than 6 or so that they wanted.
Was that
to
Walker back then?
Walker, yeah. So, and it was a property owner, Tennessee, that just wanted them topped, and then he'd have the tops removed. But the district said, no, you're not going to just top trees. We're not going to get into that business of topping trees, everywhere and take,
These trees that we're talking about are on our property.
Yes. Everything down in front of Westview, off Tennessee, Westview,
Right.
Everything, all that down through there is all district property.
Yeah, the only thing different between this request and when you apparently turned down a number of years ago is that they said top or remove. And so the only thing new here is that would be removing for a view reason. And that's not apparently something has been explicitly addressed yet, removal. I don't want to get into myself personally. I think that every time we're going to get a lot more of these requests, and that we're going to be getting into the position of trying to make judgment calls between ones that are safe to remove and ones that aren't safe to remove for aesthetic reasons. And although, if I lived there, I would really love it if, of the tree growing up in my view to take it down. There's nothing new about the trees that are there. And I don't think it's a good idea for us to get into something that's going to lead to a lot of slicing onions thinly and more thinly in the future. That's my policy. I think that
These trees,
cheers.
on the ones that these trees were already blocking the view of those. The only thing that's changed is they've gotten taller, and if they do blow over, they will go into the power line. That's my understanding.
You're talking about which,
Last month.
Right,
last month.
yeah.
All right, I'm sorry, I thought you were talking.
Well, they
about-
requested topping them too, and they were turned down.
I think I totally agree.
Yeah.
I think we should stay away from any of the view stuff.
The
I
only
think
thing
at
that's
some
changed
point-
why this one is because of
I
the
think
PD out there, and they aren't tall enough to come down and get a power.
at some point, when people learn the magic word is, there's a fire risk, it's like when
Then
patients
they'll-
go into the emergency room and say they had chest pain. So, but we address it then.
Then we'll need some kind of certification from people.
I agree. So what do we need? A motion that we're not going to,
Well, this wasn't,
just a reply?
In theory, they
Yeah, I
are
think
gonna
it's-
show up, but
I think this needs a board reply. I could do it, and if they want to take it further, then so you need to write some officially to the board. Oh, this was addressed to John Craig.
And they asked to be placed on the agenda.
excuse me,
And they asked to be placed on the agenda,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
So I'm comfortable saying, you know, the board has made a policy a number of years ago about, in the context of views, not to get into that kind of decision making. And we have not changed our view based on anything you've shown.
I agree. Does that need to be an emotion or just go for a letter?
I think you can do a consensus on this because you're not really,
It's an agenda item. Does it say board action on it?
It's not a formal
John,
request, or is it?
You tried to say,
no.
I just wonder if it's a request for a reply.
I'm wondering if you could maybe pen a short letter. And then we'll look at it and send it out.
I'm happy to, but I also am not gonna do what Dan thinks he can do. I'm not. Dan is capable of writing.
Yeah, it's fine.
it just says here, John, please forward Ron.
Yeah, I'm happy to type something out, but that's not because I don't think you're not capable.
No, I'm not gonna do.
Okay.
No, you were already coming up with a flowery word
This was,
as we
they
spoke.
want a response from the board.
Okay.
is what they-
Well, and the board will direct you to respond with
Okay.
this.
I just one more quick question. Is this a formal request versus a,
We have to consider this a formal
Okay,
request because even though it was email, it was sent to us to give to the board.
okay.
Yeah.
All right,
And I think if we put it on our agenda, that
All right.
formalizes it.
okay.
Yes.
So as Jeff was saying, perhaps this should be a vote on this or not.
Because it does include something we haven't addressed before, and I think we're in agreement. I would like to say that I would like to make a motion that this board adopt a policy of declining requests to top or remove trees in order to preserve or create views. Yeah. And that be a board policy. And then whenever someone asks, we can say, no, that's our policy. And you don't have to bring it to the board every time because you're just following
That's- yeah.
policy.
And we got precedent there as well, so.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
All right,
I,
All right.
And Ron's expert opinion on tree erosion and stuff, I was not persuaded.
agree.
I'll say it to his face, Ron, come here, Frank, where'd you get your arborist degree? Can we
So I
have,
can just respond with an email back to this, stating what our discussion was.
sure,
Uh,
if you want me to look at it, feel free, but
You
the,
could send me a draft to go by.
I can do that too.
if we're going to make this the policy, should we have a written policy?
Do we have written policy somewhere?
I don't think we do.
I think the motion was pretty good. Just that
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
policy And we
Policy.
can certainly write one up, but
But we'd have to put that on the next agenda, right? To vote on it as a policy?
Oh, I thought we just did. Do
Well,
we have to give advance notice?
I'm just asking.
Oh,
I
I don't know.
And part of the reason is if this comes up again by somebody else or whatever, we can refer back to what was decided at this board meeting with the follow-on written policy. Here is what we do. You know, as opposed to,
Your second option is to create an ordinance. If you do an ordinance, it will carry the policy.
and that would take, okay.
That would
Yeah.
take two.
we put
readings.
the policy into place now
I
and
think
then
that, because this is a classic policy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will draft you something. I've also drafted a policy
Okay,
following the words of whatever you're gonna write in that.
Okay.
I know you won't have much time because you got to get back to putting out your
My newsletter, which I missed my first week in 6 months. Nobody complained.
Okay, any other questions on that? We're good. Item 2 is the acuity contract, the new one. And I think you'll note, what is it, up, they talk about all their increasing costs and the fact that they're raising it to 11,000. And I had Aaron pull out the last one, and that one was at 9,000. So they're going up 2,000 a year.
I believe that's 2,000. It covers 24, 5, and 6, 3 years. It'll hold it down.
Yeah.
Is that how I?
Well, and this
420.
one was, the old one was 21, 22, and 23. And this will be for the next 3 years.
Right, 24, 5.
So. And it may be high on the front end and a little bit low on the back end. And
It's 3%. I mean, averages out about 3% a year.
yeah,
It's lower than inflation.
yeah. So can I have a motion to approve the acuity contract for 24, 25, and 26?
Do we ever negotiate with them?
I was,
No, we haven't.
we're getting ours done for 7,000.
Are you?
The fire district has to do it every year. And
Yeah.
7,000. I just wondered if they could. I'll be happy to get you some contact info, but
What's your budget?
about $1.5 million.
Our budget's $4 million.
So and that may be the reason.
What would be the reason?
The more money they're accounting for, the more they charge.
We're at $1.5 million. You guys are 4. But we are at 4.
In terms of percentage increase, I'm comfortable. Okay. I just didn't know, people just always just accept them, or does it offend when they say, how about, counter offer?
We've always just accepted them, but we usually keep the same auditor, Dennis Connor, with the district for 10, 13 years, something like that. So when this auditor came on, they were more money than Connor was. But Dick Crowell didn't like Connor. I will say that they're better than our last auditor. They have kept us out of trouble and gotten us out of trouble with some stuff that was done in the past. So
10% 3-year in this, 3-year.
right.
In this environment, probably prudent. I'm okay with it.
I just don't want to change that to another outfit.
Then I'll second the motion then.
Okay,
Who did you,
Who
who
motion.
made the motion?
uh,
Oh, I thought it was your motion. I'm sorry.
I guess I made the motion.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're right.
I'll second.
And then on the acuity on the report, we read the draft report, Aaron and I went through today. One thing they suggested on our travel expense report, we just add down here in the employee signature and then authorize supervisor or board member authorizes the payment. That's the only thing that they requested we change on this form.
That was
I
good.
thought it was actually a pretty good idea to do that, so.
Okay.
So a board member will assign mine, if I go to a short school or training, I'll have some board member sign that, and then I'll sign the rest of the staff.
Go down to correspondence,
We gotta vote on that.
or, okay, we all in favor of accepting the acuity contract for 24, 25, and 26, say aye.
Aye.
Keep me out of trouble. Correspondence.
Can I ask, did we ever receive a letter from the contractor for the Grove construction acknowledging? I'd like to,
They've changed supervisors too.
I think I'd like correspondence to them, reminding them that we requested that.
Okay.
I just asked, I wanted something in writing acknowledging the easement and the location of our pipe over there, and that they know it's there. All we had from them was, yeah, we looked at the maps. It was very,
Well, after you said that, they went and marked it. I mean, it was identified, we approved it, and then they.
oh, I never knew any of that.
Yes.
The next all right, there's writing.
Well, yeah, they actually, because they had to call for, not an inspection, they had to call for a locate.
Then I'm,
So they flagged it all, they located everything,
I never knew that.
yeah, and then they've already
I
done
think
the tap.
they're showing on the road tomorrow to do the concrete pump. I just got a notice. I didn't really pay attention to it. That was,
I don't know what their schedule is, but it should be pretty quick. They're gonna start pumping for the foundation,
yeah.
because they just did the tap for the lateral, so the sewer is in.
You know, I was the one that asked them to do it, and I hadn't heard they had done anything.
Yeah,
So,
that's
all right,
right.
now I know.
well, they didn't tell me either. I had to go up there and look. But that's when I saw they had located it all, the easements and everything, so.
Okay.
So, another subject, in regard to the fees that we've approved for Flock and Brian. Has that paperwork gone back to them with her corrected name on it?
I have not received it back from Clark. I just found out he was out of neck surgery, so I'm supposed to
This
get
is
it.
ridiculous. To change a name, we can change the name. Sorry to be heated, but that lawyer's irritating me.
Okay, so,
Yeah,
I need it in a Word doc to change. I mean, it was just simple. It was just to change the one.
didn't send it in a Word doc, right? Or not?
Well, I talked to his
Secretary,
secretary, assistant or something. That's what they said.
okay, just have them send us a blank one. We'll fill in the names.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
ridiculous. And don't charge us $1,000.
Which are we talking about here?
See, John,
It's for the grinder block to allow
Grinder.
them to remove those trees off the
our
property.
lawyer wrote it up as Mr. and Mrs. And her last name is different,
Flock.
Flock. So it went back, and that's,
Where they got
All-
the grinder from instead of.
Okay.
block.
And it has been weeks.
Okay.
and that's been going on for what, a month?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I should have been more on it, but I've been more concerned with the generator than I have been with.
Yeah, it was just embarrassing to have.
The road closure will be Tuesday, the 26th for the concrete or for the cement pump truck.
Oh, Maxwell Mountain,
Mhm.
the 26th,
Yeah.
okay. Let me write that down.
They sent that to you, but not to us.
We get all they have to send it to all the 911
Yeah.
providers for road closures because
Where is this?
so it's,
Or
Just one day.
Steve,
yeah, in the 5.
the little ones that dug out the hillside and left it
Maxwell,
unsupported.
Yeah,
November 26th.
So, do we have anything else? Very good. Then, meeting is adjourned at 18:21. 6:21.
You're military types,
A lot of people use a 24-hour
a lot
clock.
of military people do.
Yeah.
I'll bet you even the fire department has been known